day 2 of videos from the Broughton sisters being together. You know, day 1 in London and day 2 in somewhere very close to where we're staying right now.
We walked forever
in Kilburn.
Found somewhere.
Yeah, it was funny as we were walking. I guess funny / frustrating / irritating, because as we were walking, we're both very, very hungry, not having eaten until like 1 o'clock, and so we're strolling and we're walking and we're trying to find this space, and I noticed that, like, for me, it's interesting because what I felt is like we would get, you know, really close and connected. We would hold hands, and it was like almost like we were both, well, for me, because I was trying to, like, you know, let go of the fact of how starving I was and how really frustrated I was about not having food yet. And then all of a sudden I would find that I'd get like really irritated, and so I distanced myself kind of from Amy to where we would be like walking in you know, the different kind of like sides of the same sidewalk, but it was like distance, and then it would slowly kind of come back together, and almost this feeling of we're so close to being somewhere, and we try to talk about something different, but
I think there's something to be said about having the value of following our desire and wanting to find like the best place to eat and the best place to do work and the best place to have a coffee on this super rainy day, and sometimes getting completely lost in following that desire and feeling like we don't know where to go and we don't know where to land, and then wanting to be catering to each other's needs, and how are we going to get there, and what are we going to do, and is this going to be okay with each other? So I wrote earlier about desire, and it's funny how it's playing up today in wanting to have what we want, and also trusting our flow and not getting too caught up in how it has to look and where it has to go, and letting go of the expectations.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said. I have found in traveling that when I just let go of something looking a certain way, or, you know, going to the restaurant I really want to go to, you know, when I let go of it having to unfold a certain way that I imagine it's going to look, magic really starts to happen. And, you know, there's definitely something to be said about that with our journey today. I'm like not really knowing where we're gonna end up, and now we're at this amazing space called Peppermint, and
yeah, we still don't know where we are,
yeah.
But we found somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's something that I was tracking in that I think we didn't actually state our desires before leaving. We're like, well, we know we want to go do work somewhere, and we know we're really, really, really hungry. And I think the second that we actually said really loud and clear to one another, we need an awesome place to eat, it's cozy, that's going to protect us from the rain, because it was just about to rain as we were walking out. And I think within 5 minutes we ended up finding this little place, and it's all about being true to what you want while allowing the expectations to be released of what it needs to look like. And the more clear you can be with what your desire is, the better your powers to create will come into fruition.
And I think that goes to say too, like, even if you don't know what your desires are, maybe you know what your desires aren't. Like, I know Amy stated that she did not want to take the subway, and I kind of stated that I did not want to take the bus, and so we're like, got it, we're walking. Like, yeah. that sounds like what we came up with, a mutual agreement. And so it's like, even though we're like, we don't know where we want to go, we knew where we wanted to go, but then we knew also what we didn't want. And I think the thing is, at any point when if let's say I wanted to take the subway, and she was like, I don't want to take the subway, you know, instead of being like, oh, I can't believe you, and taking this really personally, like, what, so you want me to walk? Or, you know, almost like I'm taking her desires, she's named them, and I'm not respecting her by being like, I can't believe you don't want to take the subway, or what is it? What have we got in trouble yesterday?
The tube, as they say in England. We're terrible Brits. Yeah, and I would love to hear, like, how do you guys navigate that? Navigating other people's desires and wants when you're a no, and then owning your own desires and wants when other people are a no. we've been navigating this for quite some time where we've totally been triggered when one of us needs to know, and we've totally been accepting of it. And I think in relationship, being able to find that equal shared reality of, okay, you're a no and I'm a no to that, so that's not going to work. Like, what other options and possibilities can be created? And I know that for myself, if I stick in the limitations of it can only be black or white, usually suffering will occur. But if I can surrender to the two possibilities, three possibilities I have in my mind, there's usually a third, fourth, fifth way of being that we can start to be open to.
Yeah. So
I think that that's something that we've practiced together, is finding this shared reality, this shared space of, okay, you're a yes, okay, I'm a maybe, and leaning into what our desires are, our wants are, and really following and being true to that, and honoring the other person while staying true to honoring myself, and like being powerful in what I want.
Yeah.
And also letting go of the expectations that sometimes they're not going to be met, but at least that they were stated.
Yeah, I think that's very important, is to, like, you know, I imagine that it, like, if for me, if like I'm to pen something up and not to name it or not to say it, I have found that I've started to resent the fact that I didn't say it. Like, maybe I remember this one time where I didn't say something and I didn't own what I wanted to do, and it ended up being something that would have been really beneficial for most of the group and for myself, and I started to resent the fact that I didn't even say it. And so I think, you know, in those moments, it's like, whether you feel like it's going to be accepted or not, those are your desires, and I think those are really important to honor, because that is you, that's yourself. You know, your desires are like these little yous inside your body, and the more times you name them, it's like you're honoring that part of you. You're really seeing all of you, and you're like, okay, you're welcome, you're welcome. I mean, can you imagine having all of these yous inside of you and telling one of them that they're not accepted, like being like, no, you know, Amelia, this part of you
right now,
yeah, you're not okay. Yeah,
I'm not gonna bring you into the picture. All the other ones, everyone's gonna accept you.
Yeah.
Let me come.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. But you're, I don't know, you and the polka dotted